let's talk about the GetType method. Okay, this method, you can use this method when you want to get information about types, about classes. I'm talking about the meta information. I'm talking about the constructors. I'm talking about the properties. I'm talking about the methods that are part of a class. I'm not talking about the instance of a class. Okay, and you can access to this information in runtime. Okay, how or what would you do this? Okay, in this case I have this example. This is an ID where you can design a specific form, and for example you can draw a button. You can select a button from the toolbox, and you can put that button into the form. Okay, and if you pay attention here, you can see many properties, and that properties are all the members of this class, or they are part of this class, because a button is at the end is a class. And I can do the same with, for example, a text box. I can draw the text box, and in the same way you can see all the text box properties in this window. Okay, if you change to the button, you can see the properties of the button. Okay, the something that Visual Studio use to get that information is called reflection. Okay, reflection is what I was talking about. It's about get the information from the classes, to get all the metadata from the classes. In this case, we can see in the properties all the metadata of the button class, or the metadata for the text box class. Now let's reproduce this behavior in code. For this sample, I have this class form object. It is represents can be a button, or it can be a text box. Okay, this is the parent class that is going to be inherit from or two classes, button and text box. Okay, in the same way it's happening here. Okay, the form object has three properties: the name, the height, and width. Well, we can see, let's check if we can see that here. In the same way, let's look for the name. Okay, this is the name, and height and width. Let's check. We have the height and width. I guess it's in size, but okay, they are here. Okay, in the same way it happens with the text box, with height, and yeah, of course the name, text box 1. Now because okay, all the classes in .NET derives from the object class, we can use this notation. Okay, and we can go to the object definition class. Go to definition, and we're going to find here the GetType method. Okay, this GetType method returns a class type called type. Let's go to the definition. Okay, and as you can see, this class with many methods, properties, many members, and we can with this class and these methods we can get the properties, we can get the methods, we can get the constructor, we can uh, modify the information in the properties or to do something in the class or in the instance of the class, okay, through its names, its property names or methods. We can do something in a specific object that is an instance of that class. Now let's back. Okay, and let's go to form object class, and let's see the derived classes. Okay, we can see the bottom class derives from form object, and it has a property called image, and this is the image for a button, and it has a constructor that gets all the information for this button, and it set all the properties with the name, the height, width, and image. Now this is the text box that derives in the same way from the form object with two properties, font name and read only. It's a bool property, and it has in the same way the structure that receives name, height, width, and font name. Okay, can be Arial or Roman or any other type of font. Okay, height and width. Okay, now let's see in the program, the main program. Okay, this line declare or create an instance of a button. I sent the name of the button, height and width, and the road or the path for the image. Second line creates a text box with the name, okay, size, and the this is the font type. Okay, and I have a method that is going to receive as a parameter the object, and it is going to get all the members, or in this case it's going to be all the properties for that object. Okay, if we check this this method, it receives the object. Okay, and it uses the GetType method to get the properties in that object. Okay, this is an instance, and we are going to get all the properties. I'm going to write a line, blank line, to separate the objects or all the properties that I'm going to write on the screen. And using this for each, I'm going to move through all the properties, and finally I'm going to write the name and the value for that property. I'm going to write property name, and I'm going to get the value using the instance of the object. Okay, now I'm going to comment this to show this. Okay, I do the same thing for button and text box, and as you can see, this method can do it in a generic way. Okay, it just receives the object, and it is going to get all the members of that object. It's very generic, and this is exactly what's happening when I select one of these controls in the right window. I'm going to run this app. Okay, as you can see, first we have the properties for the button one. You can see the image, the value, name, the value is button one, and the size, the information for the size, and next is the text box. So you can see name, value, the font name, in this case is Arial, and okay, and the dimensions, height and width. Perfect. Now it's possible using the GetType method to modify the information in a specific property. So for that reason, in this method, let's explain this. I'm sending the object, the property I'm going to modify, and the value. Okay, in this case, okay, read only is going to be true. If we check again, let's check the read only property for text box, it is false, and I'm going to change it to true in this case. Okay, and then after that I'm going to write the same object, I'm going to get all the properties for the same object again. Now let's check this show object props. It's going to use oh no, let's check set properties, property value. It is going to get the object instance, like here is the name of the property and the value. This is an object too, because it's going to be converted into an object to be valid in this line of code. And okay, as you can see, I'm using the GetType method. I get a property using the property name, and in this case I'm going to modify the value in that property. Okay, I indicate the object, I have to indicate the object and the value. Okay, it is very generic, because if we see here, okay, sorry, we check in the, okay, let's see, in this design form, we can select a property, like for example, let's check here in the text box. We can modify the size and the width. Okay, and in this way we can have the information of the property in this control, and if we change the value, we can call that a specific or generic method that is going to modify that property, and it is going to be valid for any other object or any other property. Okay, if I change to the other object, I can change whatever I want, and I can use the same method, the same set property value, like in this case. Okay, now let's run this, and as you can see, we have the read-only value false, and then we change the read-only value to true. Okay, we modify the value of that property using reflection. Okay, another example about how to get meta information would be in this way, but it's not going to be too dynamic. Okay, I can use GetType, that's the class, and I can use GetType, this static method, and I can specify in a string the name of the class, but it needs the name of the namespace. Okay, followed the name of the class is going to be button in this case. Okay, and it's going to get the meta information for the button class. That's one way. Another way is using type of, and you can specify the button or any other class, and you have to define type, and you assign the result of type of in that variable. So these two ways, it's possible to use these two ways to get the meta information. Okay, and well, that's how you can use reflection and how you can use the GetType